it's Kaipachu with the weekly Pele report, and I just had to climb over these rocks to get over here, and I actually have an appointment I need to get to. So like hiking back up this freaking mountain, oh man, I gotta hurry up and do this report, but it's like an in-depth amazing report for what, July 14th of 2021. Sun trine Neptune. Venus and Mars are basically making an inconjunct to both Neptune and Pluto, which creates what they call the Yod, the finger of God. So I want to talk about that a little bit, right? The other big thing going on, of course, is the Sun coming through Cancer is going to be opposing Pluto, and it's basically all week. Powerful emotional feelings accompanied with some confrontations perhaps. Check it out. The waters are falling. Yeah, it's man-made, but it's still freaking gorgeous. The other big thing I want to talk about is Chiron stationing retrograde. Going to be sitting there at the same degree, the 13th degree of Aries, from May 29th to August 31st. You realize that is 3 months. As usual, you get to beautiful places and it's windy, and you see those wet rocks. I'm not getting any closer without swimming there. You know, I'm not swimming with my camera, so this is as close as we're gonna get today. All right, I'll try to get that, you know, behind me in the whatchamajuby. Anyway, you know, Mercury is going ahead, you know, going through Cancer. It's going to be squaring Chiron, and the Moon moves through Virgo, opposes Neptune, you know, and then moves along, trines Saturn, opposes Chiron when it gets into Libra on Thursday, and then she's going to stay there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday she goes into Scorpio, just in time for the Sun opposite Pluto. Yeah, and you know, there she's. We've also got then Mars exactly in conjunct Neptune on Sunday. Mercury in conjunct Saturn. We've got this in conjunct aspect that I suppose I could go on about for quite some time. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to just like stop there. That's enough. I mean, by next Tuesday she does get into Sagittarius. And let me look at the camera. And, oh, there's a rainbow. Okay, well, I don't know how much I have time for, and I don't even know if you can hear me with the wind. I've tried to have the microphone downwind. This is all getting so complicated. Life is just like so complicated. Oh my God. It has to do with the song for today. There's a couple of songs for today, you know, and one is Somewhere Only We Know by Keen. And another one by Keen is Everybody's Changing. I'm going to put both of those in there. And last but not least, for the Sun opposite Pluto, I got a little who what? Stevie Ray Vaughan, frickin' Crossfire. Caught in the Crossfire. Very interesting lyrics to that song, not just his amazing guitar playing. You got to check that out. We got a few different songs going on right now, and we cannot forget that amidst all of these transits with the Sun and the Moon and the Venus, Mars, and da-da-da-da, we still have Saturn squaring Uranus. The past and the future, the conservative and the radical, the, you know, the external authorities and, you know, the revolutionary. These guys are all year. You know, so we have to look at everything in the context of that bigger, greater backdrop. And of course, the Moon's nodes, right? Still moving from, you know, through Gemini. And I want to read that North Node in Gemini, because the North Node is always the answer. It's always the way forward. And you got to check it out. I hope the wind doesn't blow my freaking phone over, man. And the water is like right there. Life is so intense right now. You can almost taste it. Oh, God. Where was I? I have to read you a couple of Sabian symbols today because they are so freaking amazing. Get this. Chiron inches his way up, okay, to the 13th degree of Aries, where he stops for 3 months, right? And then says, oh man, you know, this is too much. I got to go back and take a break. So he goes back, he spends the whole month of April 2022 at that same degree again. And then what? Then he comes forward, passes it, and goes retrograde and stays there for 3 more months, November 1st to February 9th of 2023. Whoa. This is like 5 passes, 2 major stations at that same degree. Chiron is trying to tell us something, and I think that it's very important and it's very apropos for what we see going on these days. Check it out. The Sabian symbol for the 13th degree of Aries is an unexploded bomb, reveals an unsuccessful social protest. The keynote is an immature evaluation of the possibility of transforming suddenly the status quo. The symbol pictures the result of a particular attempt to resolve the conflict between 2 concept or feelings of order. Resolution by violence fails because the ego power at this stage of the process of individuation is far too strong. Too much ego, man. In quotes, the state thwarts attempts at popular revolution because these are premature expressions of a consciousness which is not free, but can only react wildly to constraint and to a central ruling power. It is thus a symbol of immature refusal to conform in the name of an over-idealistic desire for harmony and peace. Wow. A negative attempt at reconciling the spiritual ideal and the very earthly reality, denying the validity of the latter. It suggests adolescent frustration. This is the sun moving through Cancer, the inner child, right? You know, with Pluto in Capricorn, the state going, And then Saturn up there in Aquarius, again, the state, right? You know, with Uranus in Taurus, you know, wanting to rebel with what? An over-idealistic desire. I mean, it's like, whoa. You can back this thing up and, you know, listen to that again. I mean, this is an intense period of time in human history. And I just want to bring up and suggest, and that's why we have the picture of the Gordian knot. The Gordian knot is an ancient story of Alexander the Great traveling through Turkey And the oracles said that there is this great knot, and this great knot is tied to the yoke and tied to a wagon. And it said that whoever unties that knot will rule over all of Central Asia. And no one had successfully been able to undo that knot. And of course, here comes Alexander the Great. Look at, I got a spot right there on the camera. And there's two different versions of the story. One, of course, is that, in both of them, he tries to loosen it up and work it out and, pull this and pull that and, it's not working. So one story is he draws his sword and chops right through the middle of it and breaks it in half. Gordian knot undone. Now, how symbolic of that is Aries, the warrior, the Martian sword in this finger of God with Pluto and Neptune. This is the symbol of the sword is the masculine. It is the will. It is the desire to assert, pioneer, begin, boldly go forward, cutting through the bullshit. Boom, slice. Sometimes you don't have to, in fact, Yogi Bhajan even said, he says, you don't have to figure it out. You don't need therapy. You don't need to understand it all. You do your yoga, you do your meditation, you do your mantras, you do your breath work, and you become a rocket that pierces through the atmosphere. And you're going so fast, so high, so far that you leave it all behind. That's a little bit about, it's a little foreshadowing of today's mantra. Yeah. The other story is that he undoes the ropes from the yoke, right? They go to the oxen or, the horses or whatever, He undoes those and takes the ropes back and undoes the knot. The interesting thing I find about that is something from outside the knot, right? You unhook the knot from its, from its sources or its roots, or and then you can undo the knot. Instead of focusing on the knot itself, you look around at the periphery, at what is connecting and what is creating and how is this knot, functioning in existence. And this solves and opens and releases the knot. And we want to look at this knot also symbolically as an evolutionary gate. Indeed, after Alexander the Great cut or loosened that knot, he did conquer. He went all through Egypt and all through the northern, he fulfilled the prophecy. So we want to understand that, the knot, this kind of evolutionary gate, we bump into these at our Saturn return, 28, 29, 30, at the midlife crisis, 41, 42, 43, at the Chiron return, 51, Pluto square Pluto, 38, 39. We hit these knots. Neptune square Neptune is even a knot. You wouldn't think so, that Neptune is all universal love, but it confuses you enough to knot you all up, and you don't know who you are or where you're going. That's another one around what? I think that's around 38, 37 and a half, something. Anyway, these knots are these gates that we need to move through. And they signal, right? A graduation. They signify an initiation. That on the other side of that knot, or once that knot is done, you know, it's like the power is released. The consciousness is realized. So we are now in a Saturn square Uranus knot for the year of 2021. We are in a social dilemma. We are in a huge, whether it's, racism, fascism, vaccine stuff, whether it's, and that's triggered, relationship, or who do I believe, what do I believe, and, doubts of, self-doubt, and just the domino effect. We are in this freaking knot. And what we can do is we can look at it as an evolutionary gate. We can understand that there is something on the other side, and we can cut through this knot. And this is where I come to the north node of the moon. This is where I come to, I think it was Einstein, I'm not sure, but someone said, a problem is never solved at the same level at which it was created. It requires an expansion of consciousness, or it requires us to look outside and unhook the yoke and the wagon so that we can undo this knot. We need to not just focus, on the media, on what we're being told, on, what we're hearing. We need to open. And that leads me to the interpretation, the north node of the moon, which is at the 10th degree of Gemini from July 13th, yesterday, okay, until July 27th. And you gotta check this out, man. This is too freaking awesome. Ready? An airplane performing a nosedive. A superior ability to challenge nature and play with danger. Through the controlled use of mental powers, we are able to challenge the most basic force in nature, gravitation. We enjoy playing with it as a lion tamer with his violent animals. But what he challenges is within himself as well as outside. Gravitation is the universal binding force of the material world. By challenging it, we prepare ourselves to pierce beyond the physical and to reach higher realms of existence. We may lose the struggle, but that prospect makes the effort more exciting. We might gain immortality. The symbol for this has a strong sense of finality. No possibility of half measures exist. We are committed irrevocably to success or failure, at least as a conscious and self-reliant mind. The alternatives are clear-cut. One may describe it as mind versus matter, or as our will against the fate that gravitation so aptly symbolizes. And this just kind of brings me into, Rudolf Steiner in Anthroposophy, he really brought forth the threefold social order. You got to check it out if you have time. It is a way of organizing society and governments and institutions and businesses in a whole new, different way that has never been done before. However, it requires some consciousness, some awareness, some greater awareness and acceptance of the spiritual world as being just as real as the material physical world. And as long as we are caught in a materialistic consciousness mindset, the threefold social order cannot be implemented. And so this is what brings me forward to today's mantra. I gotta say, this is one of my favorite mantras of all time, man. Ow! This freaking came down to me this morning, and I'm like, yes! Yes! You gotta get the cadence right? Okay, so it kind of goes like this. There is a way of living in peace and harmony, not fighting what is, but being the change that people are longing to see. It has to do with going beyond what others claim as true and opening up to an infinite world that lies within me and you. Opening up, and it's like not getting caught in the knot, not getting lost in the fray, not getting swept up into who's right and who's wrong and what's true and what's false and da 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 da. Whoa, whoa, baby. That's the problem trying to be solved at the same level it was created. That is the adolescent using bombs and violence to make changes. It's immature. You see what I'm saying? So this path towards maturity, this path towards spiritual mastery has to do with this going within to the infinite spiritual world and validating that as a reality that we can then channel, that we can then be instruments of, that we can then be mediums for a new social order, a new world, a new paradigm. That's what I see in the stars for this week. Freaking A, man. You gotta freaking love it, right? Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna try it one more time. What is it? What is it? What is it? There is a way to live in peace and harmony, not fighting what is, but being the change that people are longing to see. It has to do with going beyond what others claim as true and opening up to the infinite world that lies within me and you. You. Yeah, baby. Just breathe into that one. Namaste. Aloha. So much love. Ow! I hope you see that rainbow because I have to change today's song. Today's song has to be Waterfall. Waterfall by Jimmy.